There are three words Jesus spoke, not when everything was peaceful, but when everything was falling apart. He didn't say them from a place of comfort. He said them in the middle of pressure, in the middle of chaos, in the middle of panic. And the moment he spoke them, everything changed. These three words weren't just for his disciples back then. They were for you now. If your life feels loud, if your soul feels tired, if you're praying but still panicking, you need to hear what he said. And more than that, you need to say it too. So stay with me, because in just a moment I'll reveal the three words, but more importantly, I'll show you how to use them. Because once you speak these three words in faith, you can finally let go. Let's get into it. Have you ever felt like no matter how hard you pray, your heart is still racing? Like your thoughts are spiraling faster than your faith can keep up? It's one thing to know God is real. It's another thing to feel like He's near, especially in the middle of a storm. That's exactly what the disciples felt one night in Mark chapter 4. They were following Jesus, they were obedient, but a storm still hit. And when it did, it hit hard. They panicked, they questioned, they even asked, "Don't you care if we drown?" Sound familiar? How many times have you cried out in frustration, asking God where He is? But Jesus didn't respond with a lecture. He didn't get emotional. He stood up and said three words: peace, be still. Key number one, He spoke with authority, not anxiety. Peace, be still, Mark 4, verse 39. That's it. Not a paragraph, not a panic, just a declaration. Three words, spoken with authority. He didn't describe the storm. He didn't break down how bad it was. He didn't call a meeting or try to calm everyone down with logic. He didn't analyze the waves or explain why the wind was acting that way. He spoke directly to it. Why? Because Jesus knew something we often forget. You don't fight storms with analysis. You fight them with authority. And when your authority is rooted in truth, you don't have to shout to be effective. You don't have to be dramatic to be powerful. Because faith doesn't talk about the storm. Faith talks to it. And that's the part so many of us miss. We rehearse the problem. We vent to friends. We journal our breakdown. We replay the worst-case scenarios in our head over and over. We give the storm our words, but not our authority. But Jesus shows us something radically different. There comes a point when you have to stop processing and start prophesying. You have to stop describing your situation and start declaring truth over it. There is power in your words, especially when they're aligned with the one who holds authority over heaven and earth. He didn't explain the storm. He silenced it. And you, as a child of God, have that same power when you walk in faith. So whatever your storm is, don't talk around it. Speak to it, call it what it is, and tell it who's in charge. Peace, be still. Number two, peace is a person, not a feeling. Let me say something that might shift your entire perspective. Peace is not the absence of problems, it's the presence of a person. Jesus wasn't just calming the sea in that storm. He was doing something far more personal, far more eternal. He was revealing Himself. He was showing them and showing you that real peace isn't found in a perfect environment. It's found in Him. Think about it. The disciples were in the storm with Jesus in the boat, and they still panicked. They had the Prince of Peace right beside them, but they hadn't yet realized who He really was. They were looking for peace around them, but peace was already with them. Isaiah 9:6 calls Jesus the Prince of Peace, not because He hands out peace like a product, but because He is peace. It's who He is. Peace isn't just something God gives you, it's something He brings with Him when He enters the room. So if you're chasing a feeling, trying to fix everything so you can finally feel okay, you'll never get there. You'll find temporary calm, temporary control, but not peace. Because peace doesn't come from having a good day. Peace doesn't come from everything going according to your plan. Peace comes from knowing who is in the boat with you. And if he's there, even when the wind is howling, you can sleep. Even when everything looks uncertain, you can breathe. Because the same voice that said, "Let there be light," is the voice that says to your storm, "Peace, be still." So when you declare peace over your situation, you're not just asking for a break from chaos, you're inviting a person into your pain. You're saying, "Jesus, I don't just need quiet, I need you. I don't just need a break, I need your presence. I don't just need less noise, I need the one who can silence it." And here's the truth. When you realize that peace is a person, your prayers shift. You stop praying, "God, make everything stop." And you start praying, "God, come closer, be near, remind me that you're here." Because when Jesus is near, peace isn't fragile, it's not circumstantial, it's not fleeting, it's firm, it's fierce, it's anchored, it holds you when everything else is shaking, it steadies you when your emotions are all over the place. It reminds you that even if the storm doesn't stop, you won't drown. Psalm 46 verse 1 says, "God is our refuge and strength, an ever-present help in trouble." So if you're in the middle of the storm, don't spend all your energy trying to escape the waves. Focus on who's in the boat. Because when peace is a person, and that person is Jesus, you don't need to control the storm. You just need to stay close to the one who already has. Number 3, say it in faith, then let go. Those 3 words Jesus spoke, "Peace, be still," weren't just a rebuke to the elements. They were a revelation for the hearts in the boat. Because while the wind was howling and the waves were crashing, the real storm wasn't just out there. The real storm was happening inside of the disciples. The fear, the panic, the unbelief, the what-ifs, and the why isn't he doing something? Sound familiar? It's what so many of us feel. We're not always battling what's going on around us. We're battling the weight within us. That's why Jesus didn't just calm the sea, he spoke to the soul. And I believe he's still doing that now. Because here's the truth. Some of the most dangerous storms are silent ones. The ones no one sees. The ones that rage beneath your smile. The ones that hide behind your productivity. The ones that whisper at night when everything goes quiet. The ones inside your own mind. That's why this isn't just about repeating a phrase. This is about believing what he said and declaring it with full surrender. Say it over your thoughts when anxiety creeps in like a shadow. Speak to it. Don't invite it. Don't reason with it. Confront it. Peace, be still. Say it over your emotions. When your heart is overwhelmed, when you're exhausted from pretending you're okay, say it anyway. Say it through tears if you have to. Peace, be still. Say it over your future, when the path feels foggy, when you don't know how things will work out, when doors have closed and silence is all you hear. Say it anyway, because you're not saying it in your own strength. You're repeating what Jesus already declared, and heaven responds to his word. But here's the part many never do. Once you've said it, let go. Let go of the mental gymnastics. Let go of obsessing over how it will work out. Let go of the illusion that if you stress just a little more, you'll finally gain control. Let go of that weight you were never created to carry. Some of you are spiritually and emotionally exhausted, not because God hasn't moved, but because you haven't stopped trying to be him. You pray, and then you worry. You surrender, and then you snatch it back. You cry out, and then try to solve it in your own power. But the pattern Jesus shows us is different. He speaks, he commands, and then he rests. He doesn't repeat himself. He doesn't second guess. He trusts the authority of his own word. And that's what real faith looks like. Faith is not control. Faith is release. Philippians 4 verse 6 to 7 says, "Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus." Notice the order. You pray first, then peace comes. Not when it's all fixed, not when you have all the answers, but when you finally let go. That's when His peace steps in, a peace that doesn't make sense to others, a peace that doesn't depend on results, a peace that stands guard over your soul like a soldier. So today, don't just say it out of routine. Say it in faith. Say it because you believe He hears you. Say it because you know His presence is greater than your problem. Say it until your thoughts slow down. Say it until your heart agrees. Peace, be still. And then, no matter what happens next, let go. Let go of trying to control what only God can carry. Let go of proving yourself. Let go of that tension in your chest, that worry in your gut, that constant pressure to keep everything together. God doesn't bless striving, He blesses surrender. So take your hands off the outcome and let the one who calms storms calm you. Because the miracle isn't just when the waves stop, it's when your heart does. And that only happens when you say it in faith. And then let go. So what's the storm in your life right now? What's raging so loud that it's drowning out your peace? Whatever it is, don't speak about it. Speak to it. Stand up in faith and say the words Jesus gave you. Peace be still. Drop a comment below and say, "Peace be still in my..." and finish the sentence with the area in your life where you need God's peace the most. Be honest. Be specific. Speak from your heart. For example, "Peace be still in my mind. Peace be still in my finances. Peace be still in my health. I'm tired of the pain and the waiting." Write it like you mean it, because when you speak it in faith, you're not just typing words. You're declaring God's presence over your storm. And if someone came to your heart while watching this, send them this video. Let this be their reminder that peace is still possible in the middle of chaos. Like, subscribe and turn on the bell. Because we're building a space where faith is stronger than fear.